Hey cookie creators and lovers alike, I'm Gabby. Grab your tennis ball and your racket. It's time for Wimbledon. Today on the Cool Cookie Show, we're making tennis cookies. For my tennis ball, I'm going to start by flooding it in a bright tennis ball green. For my soft piping consistency icing, I'll be using a number 1 Artograph tip. And for my 15-second consistency flooding icing, I'll be using a number 3 Wilton tip. Now I'll let this base flooding dry for 6 to 12 hours before we go add some detail. I'll let this line dry for 2 to 3 hours before we go to the next step. It's extremely important that this white line be dry before we move forward. I'm going to use a combination of piping and flooding icing to give the tennis ball its texture. This cookie's all done and ready to fly. For our tennis court, I'm going to start by flooding it in a Kelly green. For my soft piping consistency icing, I'm using a number 1 Artograph tip. And for my 15-second consistency flooding icing, I'm using a number 4 Wilton tip. We'll let the flooding on our court dry for 6 to 12 hours before we add detail. To help adhere our sprinkle crowd to our cookie, we'll be using some white, stiff piping consistency icing. This cookie's all done and ready to play. For our tennis racket, we're going to start by flooding the base of the cookie in a white. For my soft piping consistency icing, I'm using a number 1 Artograph tip. And for my 15-second consistency flooding icing, I'm using a number 2 Wilton tip. Now we'll let this icing dry for 6 to 12 hours before we construct our tennis racket. I use my projector as well as a food coloring marker to add the image of the tennis racket to the cookie. We'll let this detail dry for 20 minutes to an hour before we go in and complete the racket. This cookie's all done and ready to get into the swing of things. Have you ever played tennis? Do you enjoy watching the sport? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click subscribe as well as the bell icon to be notified every time I upload a new video. In the meantime, here are some other videos you may enjoy. Thanks so much for watching the Cool Cookie Show. Till next time, stay sweet.